Hey friends, Jim and Allie here.
Hi.
Thanks for clicking into the video. And before we jump in, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you won't miss any of the fresh content. Now settle in, grab a pen, and prepare to grow.
Bye, guys.
Recording in progress, everyone. Welcome. Tonight's talk, ready for the title? Back to the Future. And we've got 7 areas of your life that if you choose to leverage and how you choose to leverage them are going to determine your future. So I was thinking of Freeman as I'm coming up with 7. And to be honest with you, I came up with these. Then I just thought, well, what the hell? Let me go count them. There were 7. So it just happened to work out without me putting a lot of that kind of thought into it. So though, if you got your pen, I'm going to have you write some things down. 90 days from right now is Wednesday, July 30th. Okay. That's going to be relevant as we press ahead into our talk. Okay.
3rd or 30th?
30th,
Okay.
Wednesday, July 30th. Your life on that day will look like one of the 3 realities I'm going to present based on how you choose to leverage these 7 particular areas of life. Okay. So I'm going to lay out for you 3 different realities. Reality number 1 is what I call zero positive growth. And I also will preface it to saying that everyone on this call, I don't think that anybody's going to be at zero positive growth. Okay. But it's important for us to illustrate because understand there's going to be other folks that are going to hear this talk. So the amount of time spent training, stretching, walking, overall movement, we could call it, per day for that 90-day period is going to be 0 to 15 minutes per day average. Okay. The amount of time spent per day in devotional time. That is your Devo, your Bible reading, your prayer time, your journaling, etc. The average amount of time per day for reality number 1, 0. So the first 7 areas we're talking about leveraging. The first one is training. Second one is Devo and time with the Lord. The third one, number of days in that 90 days that you either drink alcohol, eat fast food, or process junk and or sweets. So we're talking about drinking and garbage food. The number of days that you'll do those things, 50 to 90 of them. And these are leading up to 0 positive growth. So what you're hearing here is what not to do, right? The next one is the number of pages that you're going to read from a personal development type of a book. On average per day, 0. You will do 0 food tracking or weighing of anything. Your average amount of water consumed per day is going to be from 0 to maybe 32 ounces. And the amount of money that you would have invested in bettering yourself. And when I talk about investments in bettering yourself, that goes into coaching, seminars, be it online or in person, professional training, things of that nature. Like I'll give you, for example, Saturday, Allie and I are going to an event at Baxter Arena all day called Life Surge. Tim Tebow's there. The dude from Duck Dynasty's there. Patricia Heaton's there. A guy named Ed Milet, who's partners with Andy Frisella in a lot of things. There's just a ton of speakers, and it's Christ-centered, and there's worship bands, and so it's an all-day event, and it was expensive. And I bought the tickets in January because I know that these are investments that are important to make in self-improvement, personal development. So the amount of money that people that are at 0 positive growth spend on that in the next 90 days, exactly 0. Okay. So that's reality number 1. I call it 0 positive growth. Reality number 2, there's some growth. You're better than before at the end of the 90 days. Some changes, but some of them are kind of hard for people to notice. Okay. So I'm going to go over the same 7 things and give you what this reality, what the commitment is for this person. And what I think that you'll find is you're falling into one of these categories. Okay. So the first one we talk about is time spent per day average training. Okay. So that's going to be 15 to 30 minutes. And we're talking about an average over the 90 days. Okay. So if you work out 3 days a week for an hour, that's 3 hours. So you would take 180 minutes divided by 7. And that's how many per day you've worked out that week. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So that number for reality number 2 is 15 to 30 minutes. The amount of time that you'll spend with the Lord, devotional time, scripture study, those types of things, 5 minutes a day. It's better than 0. How many days out of 90 would you drink alcohol or consume junk? That's 20 to 35 days, which doesn't sound awful, and it's better than the average person in America, but
Yeah.
20 to 35 days. Next is reading. You might read a few pages here and there, but you're averaging probably 2 pages of reading per day. What that means is over the course of 90 days, you'll finish one average size book. And guys, ask yourself honestly, are you doing even that? The next one is you're not really committed to weighing your food and tracking your food with technology, but you're becoming more cognizant of what a portion size looks like. And you're falling into the trap that I did for years of what people will say is intuitive eating.
Mm-hmm.
I have a pretty good idea, and then when you really start weighing stuff, you figure out how wrong you were. Water. Hey, I'm starting to drink a bunch more water. I'm on it. So now you're drinking 32 to 48 ounces of water a day. And that's way better than you did before. And it's a lot and so on and so forth. But actually, our target is 128 ounces. So this person's drinking 32 to 48 on average. And then the amount that they're willing to invest financially in a 3-month period for their personal development, it's about $50 to $300 over the course of 3 months. Okay, that's more than 0. But I can tell you that really going all in looks like a lot more money than that's invested because there's just so many opportunities for those types of things. We have reality number 3, which I call savage mode. And you guys know when I use the term savage, I mean it as a term of endearment and respect and honor. And this reality, if lived for 90 days, will have this person unrecognizable. And that's the term I'm always throwing out. Let's go over each of the 7 areas and we'll talk about what savage mode looks like in each of them, okay? Average over 90 days of movement. Now I'm talking about all kinds of movement. So your strength training, your stretching, your walking at the lake, sometimes maybe going out 2 times a day and doing stuff. The savage is averaging 60 to 90 minutes a day over the course of 90 days. Devotional time, 10 to 20 minutes. Here's the key, each morning. And that person for 90 days will not miss.
Yeah.
The next one is, and this is the rub, how many days where will they consume any kind of processed garbage food, fast food, Oreos, soda, you name it, that we consider crap and processed food? Do you know how many days out of 90 the savage will consume those? Allie's got it.
0.
The answer is 0. The savage also, each day for 90 days, will commit to reading 10 pages a day. That means that you're going to read for 90 days, you're going to read 4 books in that amount of time, guys. It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
You ever read 4 books in 90 days? And I'm not talking about audio books and Kindle. I'm talking about an actual book, and you've read 4 books in 3 months. It's great. I've experienced it. It's amazing. The next element that we talk about is food tracking and weighing. So when Savage mode, that person has, and these are the two that I've always pushed because I use them, MyFitnessPal and Trainerize to track everything they're doing. So if it goes in their mouth, it goes in their app. They know their macros every day for 90 days. They know their calories, their protein, their carbs. They know their strength training, the work they've done in the gym. Like Bob and Mike, you guys can tell, your app will tell you, hey, you lifted more weight today than you did in the last time you did. And Rick, you've shown that, hey, I lifted this many pounds. And so there's some tracking element to what you're using. The next one is water. What am I going to say the Savage does for water? You guys, how many months have you known me?
I'm guessing 128 ounces.
It's a gallon. That's it, right? And they don't leave it to guesswork, because when we leave it to guesswork, we're falling short. When we leave it to guesswork, we're going to fall short. Now we talk about investment. And I wanted to talk about investment because I like to be honest with you guys about what Allie and I are in a season of investing, okay? Because I think it's important, because I need you guys to know that we put our money where our mouth is, and that's a literal statement, okay? So we invested, I want to tell you, and I don't remember this exactly, I think to go to Life Surge is about $500, okay, for the two of us. And that's not nothing. We committed to being part of a school community and a part of Andy Elliott's organization for a year. That was $3,000. Okay. We also partnered with our coach, who we meet with very frequently on Zoom. We did an hour and change with him yesterday on Zoom. And I mean, he goes into the freaking weeds with us and trains us up, and there's homework, and I have studies to do, and it's a lot. And I think I've shared this with you guys. That was $7,000. Okay. So we're investing significant money into ourselves. And that's not to mention if there's this, a 3-day thing we want to do that's $97, and there's a lot of, we invest in our personal development because we know that it's important. And the number that I came up with in Savage mode is, in a 3-month period, that person would understand that investing $1,000 to $2,500 total is what it takes. And then I typed, true savages set aside a percentage of income for discretionary spending on personal development, which is exactly what we do. We delegate income. And the first delegation I'll talk to you guys about, and I think Allie knows where I'm going to go with this, is there's a 10% that comes right off the top. Do you know where that goes? It's
Church.
our tithe.
Oh, church.
Yeah, that's our tithe. We are tithing people. We're a tithing family. We believe in it. Tithing's not a salvation issue. God doesn't love us more because we tithe. God doesn't need our money. We don't have a special place in heaven, because it's none of it's, that's, anybody that tells you that is religious and lying to you. But for us, we believe in the biblical principle of tithing. So it's a non-negotiable. Boom. Just like we're going to close on another house that we flipped over in Council Bluffs in about a week and a half. And when we get our checks from that, the first thing we do is take 10% of it, and it's tithe. We also set aside a certain amount of money from income for personal development.
Well, and we're showing Arlie about tithing.
We are, because when she earns something, if she gets $5, she's giving us 50 cents, or however much, what is it, 50 cents? And so Arlie's learning as well. So that's a good word. But we understand that when personal development opportunities present themselves, sometimes we're not just going to have a pot of gold. But if we're allocating money for personal development and it's a priority, it'll be there, because it's not a cost, it's an investment. Like, we went in, and I'll go a little deeper, but there was a couple stocks that really hit a dip when Trump announced these tariffs and stuff, and they're strong companies, and they hit a real dip. We took a look at that and we said, hey, this is an opportunity to take advantage of this, because we believe in these companies and we think they're going to rebound huge. We have money here that we don't have it to spend, but we sure do have it to invest. So we took it and made an investment in these companies, and we've already seen a rebound because we were able to buy them in what's called a dip. So costs, we generally don't have a lot of extra money for. Investments, we should be setting up our lives to where we do have money for investments. And personal development is an investment, not a cost. And I say that because I've done it that way for years. And I've also never missed the money because it's the only area, personal development, I mean, where it's not just a financial return on investment, but in every area of life. And that's why I'm so passionate about investment in personal development. So before we move on, was it clear enough to you when I laid out the 3 different kinds of realities? So person A is doing this, person B this, and then the savage is doing this. And this is for 90 days. I'm not talking about the rest of your life. I'm talking about for 90 days, what does person 1, 2, and 3 do and commit to? Because we're not talking about a crazy amount of time. You guys with a pen, what day is 90 days from today?
July
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 30th.
July
July
30th.
30th, Wednesday, July 30th. Okay. Now, if you'll bear with me, I've got a part of the exercise that I'm going to ask you to participate in here with me, all in, okay? And you're going to hear the soothing sound of my voice. So I want you guys to close your eyes, okay? I'm transporting us to the morning of July 30th. That morning is a Wednesday morning. It's 6 o'clock in the morning. Okay. You guys have gotten up, you've gone in and gone to the bathroom. You've taken off every stitch of clothing that you have, and you're standing in front of a very accurate full-length mirror. There's nobody in the room but you. You're staring at that mirror. I want you to not answer it out loud or audibly, but in your mind's eye, in your mind, I want you to ask and answer these questions. What do you see? I want you to get a picture of that while your eyes are still closed. What emotions are you feeling as you stare back at yourself? Are you proud of what you see? Are you embarrassed? Are you disappointed at the progress over the last 90 days? I hope you're not feeling this, but sometimes maybe people do, because I have. Are you feeling ashamed? As you stare back at that body, do you wish that you would have done more? Wish you might have tried harder or made the investment? Do you wish, as you look at your body and you think back on your decisions and lifestyle and habits over these past 90 days, do you wish you might have said the word no a little more often? Are you wishing you could go back and make decisions based on discipline and goals rather than feelings and emotions? As you look at yourself staring back on that Wednesday morning at the end of July, can you honestly say that you've given it your all for the last 90 days? Okay, now let's open our eyes for just a second. Shake that off a little bit because we've had that mental picture and we've thought about that because we're ahead now. It's no longer May 1st. We're on July 30th still, guys, because I've transported us to the future. Okay. Now what I want you to do, and you can stay eyes open or eyes closed, but I want you to get dressed. Okay. Because we're walking away from the mirror. Now we're going to go over and we're going to put our underwear on and here's our shirt. It might be a t-shirt, and pull up our shorts or whatever, because July 30th is probably going to be hot. So we're getting dressed, okay? I want you to ask yourself, how do your clothes fit? Have people at the office or at church or at men's group, have they been commenting on the changes in your physique and your overall countenance and confidence and attitude over the last 90 days? Have people audibly been coming up to you and saying, freaking look at you, bro, or look, go girl? Do you feel closer to God? And are you experiencing a peace that comes from that closeness? Have you maybe even began to memorize some scripture verses that are really important to your life? You might even consider them life verses. Do you feel more financially secure than you did back on May 1st? Do you feel like you're in more control of your spending because you've set aside discretionary money for the right things and the right investments? Are you performing better at work? How is your overall energy when we compare it to Thursday, May 1st? How is, not getting weird here, but how's your sex drive? How's your mood? How's your skin? What about your sleep? How's your gut health? Now, it's weird being up in July 30th. I mean, we just transported ourselves. Great news, though. We're going to jump back in to the time machine, and we're going to jump back into May 1st at 6:25 p.m. So, boom, 6:25 p.m., May 1st. It's a Thursday night. Whew. We're back, guys. We're just actually we're on a Zoom call that we were on. I transported you all to July 30th at 6 in the morning, and we all went through an exercise that, if we're being honest, might have been a little bit uncomfortable. Okay. Now I'm going to ask you a question, because now we're back here. Knowing what you just saw as I transported you into the future, which reality would you now choose for July 30th? Because now you get a do-over.
3.
Yeah. Because you get a do-over. One of the things I wrote, why are we wishing for do-overs when all we have to choose is to do? We don't need do-overs if we do. The only people that wish for do-overs are the people that don't do. We get to choose our reality. And I would challenge you all with this, and this isn't just for the folks on this call. This is for the folks that will see this for the next, people will see this video for the first time in a few years. Okay. You're going to be living one of those 3 realities to a degree when Wednesday, July 30th comes, and that's in 90 short days. You're going to have either 0 positive growth, you're going to have some growth and be a little better than before, or you're going to be unrecognizable to people in your life. I am blessed to live with a woman who's unrecognizable to people in 90 days. And to a degree, to me, and I see her a lot. Allie's reconnected with people that she hasn't seen in person in months, and that she started conversations with, and they've seen some social media and stuff, and these people can't even believe it. And transformation does happen in 90 days. So what I wrote was, and I want to finish with this, I put, choose your reality. Each day that you delay committing is one day less that you get to live as your most fit, healthy, most faithful self. Let me repeat. Each day that you delay committing is one day less you get to live as your most fit, healthy, and faithful self. How many more days are you willing to do the crazy, horrible 2 W's? Wait and waste. How many more days are you willing to wait and waste? Every one of us has a finite number of days left to live. That's not morbid. It's true. Nobody here gets out alive. Okay. We're all on a path towards personal development, spiritual fulfillment, closeness to Christ, fitness, savagery, strength. We're all on that path. And the reason that we're on that path is because we want the least amount of our time left to be lived as our current and past condition, and we want a larger number of our remaining days to be as somebody that we're not today. Would you agree that that's what the training and the prayer and the lifting weights and the diets and the nutrition plans and the water and the sleep and the saying no to the beers, and isn't it because we want to live more of our remaining days as something we've never been and less of our remaining days as who we already have been? Is that a fair statement that I just made?
Yes.
Absolutely.
So my challenge to you is, how fast do you want to run towards that new reality? If I told you that you had, and I'm making up numbers here because I haven't done the math, if I told you you had 10,000 more days to live, and you said, I'm on a trajectory and I'm getting better, and it's probably going to take me about 7,000 days to get where I'm trying to go. Okay, so you're going to live 3,000 of that 10 as what you consider your best self. But if we just committed, you know what I just got done telling you? How many days could you take if you committed to that third reality? How many of those 10,000 days would it take to really make you a different person?
90.
90. Does that mean at the end of 90 days, you're going to be on the cover of a magazine and you're going to lose 200 pounds? No, it does not. But it means you're going to get yourself so rapidly closer to the person that you ultimately want to become that now the progress will start feeding on itself. And it'll be like you made so much money on that investment that now, even on average returns moving forward, you're going to get rich in a hurry. Because the beginning was such a commitment. And it was so impactful, and it was such a jump start, and it was such a sucky cycle of 90 days, thus the title of the book, that you were willing to get out of your feelings, to say no to some family, to say no to some friends, to go all in on your discipline, to look for ways to invest money in your personal development, to do things radically different than anybody else, to even separate from some people for a period of some months and say, hey, you know what? Oh, what are you doing this weekend, Bob? You know what? Not anything with you, no offense, but you can call me on Wednesday, July 30th. And then here's the other great thing when you do something like that and you live reality number 3. When July 30th comes, you know what you're not going to be excited about doing?
That.
Eating junk, not training, going out and getting drunk, going to McDonald's, going to the bar, staying up till 2:30 in the morning. You're not going to be excited to do any of that stuff. You're going to be so excited about the person that you've become in 90 days that you're going to find that the Holy Spirit has worked in you and changed your wants. And you might even try to force yourself to go do some of that, but it just won't have any pleasure anymore. Then what will have pleasure for you is reinvesting in yourself. It's like if you took $1,000 and invested it, and in 90 days you doubled it. Well, I'm going to take my 2,000 and go blow it at the casino. You won't do that because you know how precious it is. Now you're going to be like, what if I reinvested it? What if I could? It's the same thing that's going to happen with your personal development. You're going to want to go so all in on yourself because you've seen the return on personal investment that you can have, and you're going to want to bet on yourself again and again and again. And what's going to happen is the people in your life that are watching you, and they are, do not think that there aren't people watching every move you make and taking mental notes. You are either encouraging and motivating and inspiring people, or you're showing them who they don't want to be, Or the third option is you are showing them a standard that they're super comfortable living down to and perpetuating what people call generational curses of families.
Hmm.
And that is not how we're made. We are changing generations. We are breaking
Amen.
curses.
Amen.
We are rising up. We are setting new standards and becoming those standards. And we are unrecognizable to people that used to know us, family, friends alike. They can't even believe when they run into us at Hy-Vee. What happened to you? They'll say. You know what? Just invested in myself, man. I'm just trying to live the most of my days left as the best, my best self. And, and say weird stuff like that to them. Okay, man, be the weirdo. But I want to challenge you guys with the 3 realities, because I want you to go back and meditate on this. And I want you to think about what we've talked about. And I want you to look at each of these 3 realities and the 7 areas. And I want to read you the 7 areas again, so you can maybe jot them if you didn't have a chance to. So the 7 areas that we talked about to leverage in your life effectively are average time per day spent training. Average time per day, I call it in Devo time. That encompasses Bible reading, prayer, journaling, things like that. Third area is number of days in the next 90 days that you're going to indulge in alcohol, cigarettes, vaping, junk food, the crap that's just poison. Okay. Number of pages per day that you're going to read over the next 90 days, average per day. You should be reading 900 pages in the next 90 days. Average book's about 160 pages. Okay. Next element is food tracking and weighing your food, so you know what's going on and you can enter it into your app and know what's going in your body. Number 6 is water consumption. We're trying to drink more water tomorrow than we did today until we can work our way up to a gallon, and we track that because water is super important. And the last one is amount of money invested in 90 days towards your personal development. Those are the 7. And how you choose to invest in each of those 7 will determine which emotions you're feeling when you're looking at that person staring back at you in the mirror at 6 a.m. on the day that I transported you to on Wednesday, July 30th, 2025. But you got to live that for a few minutes, and then we were able to bring you back to this present time. So you don't need do-overs, you just need to do, don't you? That is my talk for tonight. I'm going to post this in school. It will be in the targeted trainings, and it'll have today's date by it. And I'll probably put some notes in there as well. And if you have more questions on it, shoot me a text, shoot me a message. We can certainly discuss it. But I just wanted to give you guys an idea of when do we want to start going all in. And I don't want to discourage you if you feel that you've gone not all in, but you've gone in. I don't want to discourage you by that. But I also don't want you to slow play life, because I don't think that we need to go to the minor leagues and play A ball, then double A ball and triple A ball, then come up and play for the Golden Spikes or the Royal. And then we go to I think we can go to the big leagues. Okay. Let's skip all the nonsense and go to the majors. Let's just jump all in and become pros now. Yeah, we're going to strike out a little bit. Who cares? At least we're striking out in the big leagues. Right? That's what I want this group to do. And not just this group I'm speaking to on Zoom tonight, but everybody who's hearing my voice for years to come. I want them to understand that wherever they're starting, they can go all in, and you don't need to put your toe in the water. Society's going to tell you that you do. You don't want to go, don't go crazy. I mean, you don't want you lifting too much weight. You do it once a week until you can get, no, freaking no. Doesn't mean you go crazy into the point where you're so sore you can't move and your arm's in a cast, but it means that you push yourself to your maximum and then your maximum changes. Then you go to the new maximum and then it changes. But we can go all in and we can do more. And I'm not used to drinking water, so I'm going to drink 1 bottle today. And then next week I'll drink. No, you can drink a gallon of water tomorrow and it's not going to kill you. You can read 10 pages instead of just reading 2. Well, I'm going to start that in June because I'm super busy at work. No, guys, excuses and feelings are going to keep you from the person that you want to be on July 30th. I had a talk with somebody earlier this week, and we talked about feelings. What I told this person was that your feelings don't matter. And as I reflected upon that statement, I stand by it in the context with which I was having the discussion. But of course, your feelings matter, everyone. They are important. Your feelings are relevant, and you should be understood and heard. But in the context of discipline, your feelings do not matter because they are liars. They are liars. So I think I used the words F your feelings. I don't care about them. I care about your discipline. And when you make a promise to yourself, I expect you to keep it. F your feelings. And guys, it's time to get away from our feelings and emotions and to make decisions. And to make, one of my favorite terms is to make non-negotiable decisions. When we have non-negotiables in our lives, the decisions are already made. I never think to myself, should I get up tomorrow morning and have time with God and then work out? That decision's already made. So I don't toil over that decision. And one of the greatest benefits of living that lifestyle is I have more time in my day to live efficiently and effectively and joyously than the average person because they're spending all this time making decisions. I spend very little time making decisions, although I make many, many a day. Eric, hey, man.
What's happening?
We are just getting out of here, brother, but we had a pretty
Yeah, I got to see your faces.
We didn't see yours.
What? Am I off?
I got your voice. But what I wanted to say, guys, is when we don't waste time on decisions, it frees up many more hours a week because the decisions are already made. We should be able to say yes or no very fast because we've already made the decisions. And once we can start having non-negotiables in our lives, that means it's not that non-negotiables are, I'm not going to negotiate with Allie. It means I'm not negotiating with Jim.
Yeah.
I don't negotiate with me anymore because negotiating is where you start having, well, shoot, if I ate 2 slices of pizza and I put it in the app, I could not eat breakfast tomorrow. I mean, that seems like that's a good negotiator, and it's the same number, and hey, Jim, you want a couple pieces of pizza? Yes, but I will not eat them. Why? Well, because it's not what I'm doing. It's non-negotiable. You eat all the pizza you want. I'm not having any. So I just want to encourage us in those areas. Eric, what we talked about briefly, I'll share with you, is we talked about 3 different realities and who we are and how we look on July 30th, which is 90 days from today, is determined by 7 different areas of focus in our lives. And I'm going to leave you with that cliffhanger because in about an hour, you can click on and watch it in the targeted trainings because it is recorded. But yeah, that's what I got for this Thursday. And it was nice to see you guys and continue. We're all on the path and we're all grinding it out. And we should see significant progress in ourselves as we go on to the next week. My deep water men have weigh-ins tomorrow morning. Very excited for those. We're going to celebrate the victories in those. And we're going to celebrate the victories because we know we haven't negotiated. And if we have negotiated, that's going to show up too. And then we're just going to learn from it and progress.
Yep. Good work, Jim.
Okay, guys. Eric, it was nice to see you. Let's try to talk tomorrow. I'm getting ready to do a few things and get to bed early, but I do want to catch up. And the rest of you guys, thank you so much. And Allie, I bet I see you in about 60 seconds.
All right, guys. Good to see your faces.
You too,
bet.
bro.
Good night,
Later.
everyone.